In recent years, spirituality has become more popular than ever. It's trending on social media, embedded in lifestyle blogs, and even commercialized through products like healing crystals and incense. But somewhere along the way, something changed. What was once a quiet, personal journey inward has turned into a loud performance. This video isn't about blaming or shaming. It's about looking deeper. We need to talk about modern spirituality because, in many cases, it has become a mask, a disguise for ego. And more importantly, we need to rediscover what true spirituality actually is and why the most spiritual people are often the ones you'd least expect. It's time to return to the roots of spiritual practice, humility, love, service, and silence. It often starts innocently. A person reads a spiritual book, listens to a podcast, or tries meditation for the first time. They feel a shift, a spark. Something new opens within them. But instead of deepening that journey quietly and humbly, something else kicks in, the ego. The ego loves knowledge. It wants to be special. So it grabs hold of spirituality and makes it into a badge of honor. Suddenly, this person isn't just someone who read The Power of Now, they are enlightened. They begin talking down to others, saying things like, "You're still stuck in the 3D," or "You don't understand because you're not awake yet." What started as a search for truth has turned into a performance. The spiritual ego is subtle but dangerous. It convinces us we're better than others because we know more. It whispers, "You're special because you're on a higher vibration." And just like that, we're no longer seeking truth. We're seeking superiority. Spiritual ego thrives on exclusivity. It needs to feel different, chosen, or above the crowd. It might reject others for being too mainstream or not conscious enough. Ironically, the spiritual ego creates separation when real spirituality dissolves it. It even shows up in how we treat people. Someone in the grip of the spiritual ego may look down on others for eating meat, watching TV, or not practicing yoga. The irony? These same people preach compassion and unity. But compassion without humility is just condescension in disguise. There's a big difference between being spiritual and looking spiritual. Modern spirituality has become aesthetic. People buy crystals, light incense, and wear flowy clothes. They post selfies meditating, share quotes about the universe, and talk about energy cleansing. None of these things are inherently bad, but when they become the goal instead of the tool, we have a problem. The ego is sneaky. It doesn't want to die. So it adapts. It says, "Fine. If you want to be spiritual, I'll be the most spiritual." And suddenly, the person who used to chase money or status is now chasing spiritual clout. They're still competing, still comparing, still judging, just in different clothes. They say things like, "I'm on a higher frequency," or "You need to raise your vibration," as a way to place themselves above others. It's spiritual elitism. It's hierarchy disguised as holiness. Spiritual identity becomes another costume. Instead of Gucci and gold, it's mala beads and mantras. The problem isn't the look, it's the attachment to the image. When we become obsessed with how we appear, we forget who we truly are. The spiritual identity is comfortable because it gives us a label. But true awakening often begins when labels fall away. When we no longer need to say, "I'm a healer," or "I'm awakened." We just live it quietly and humbly. So, what is real spirituality? It's not loud. It doesn't need to be seen. Real spirituality is humble. It's the quiet janitor who prays before work. It's the single mother who sacrifices daily for her children. It's the man who helps his elderly neighbor without expecting anything in return. True spirituality is not about escaping the world. It's about being fully in the world, but with love, compassion, and awareness. It's not about perfect rituals, but about imperfect actions done with genuine care. The most spiritual people are often those who don't even call themselves spiritual. They don't post about their journeys. They don't preach. They simply live their truth, and their presence changes others without needing to say a word. They're not chasing the next retreat. They're chasing integrity. They're not obsessed with chakras. They're obsessed with kindness. Real spirituality is deeply rooted in service. It values humility over show, patience over power, and kindness over cleverness. It shows up when nobody is watching. It carries peace in ordinary moments. Spirituality is not about floating above life. It's about being grounded in it with your hands in the soil, your heart open, and your ego in check. In today's world, spirituality is often performed. Social media is filled with spiritual influencers selling courses, showing off their morning rituals, or posting polished photos of their latest retreat. Again, these things aren't bad by themselves. The issue is the intention. Is it about growth or is it about attention? Is it about healing or about branding? Performative spirituality is often surface level. It gives the illusion of depth, but when you look closer, there's not much there. It's all light, no shadow. All smiles, no struggle. But real spiritual growth includes discomfort. It includes facing your own darkness, your trauma, your flaws. It's not always pretty. It's not always Instagram-worthy. But it's real. There is a difference between sharing your journey to inspire and curating a persona to impress. The former is vulnerable and honest. The latter is often motivated by likes and status. We must be careful not to turn healing into performance or wisdom into content. When spirituality becomes a product, it loses its soul. Real growth isn't always marketable. In fact, it often looks like pulling away from the spotlight, not stepping into it. Real growth is quiet. It's often painful. It's messy. It doesn't come from reading one book or doing one ayahuasca ceremony. It comes from facing yourself day after day. It's when you realize you were wrong and you apologize. It's when you hold space for someone even though you're tired. It's when you choose to forgive even when your pride wants revenge. Real growth looks like showing up for your life fully and honestly. It looks like doing the hard thing because it's the right thing. It looks like listening more than speaking. It looks like choosing peace over being right. It's also about resilience, the ability to sit with pain without escaping. It's the practice of staying present even when everything in you wants to run. And most of all, it looks like dropping the need to appear spiritual and simply being yourself. There are many myths that surround spiritual growth. One of the biggest is the idea that you always have to feel good. That once you're spiritual, you'll never be sad, angry, or confused again. But that's not growth. That's denial. True growth allows for the full range of human emotion. You can be deeply spiritual and still feel grief. You can meditate daily and still struggle. Enlightenment doesn't mean perfection. It means presence. Another myth is that more tools equal more growth. More books, more crystals, more ceremonies. But sometimes simplicity is more powerful. Sitting quietly with yourself can teach more than a weekend retreat. Growth isn't linear and it doesn't follow a perfect timeline. It comes in waves, setbacks, breakthroughs, and silence. It's personal, unpredictable, and deeply sacred. Religion and spirituality are often used interchangeably, but they aren't the same. Religion is structured, often communal, and usually based on tradition and doctrine. It provides a path, a story, a framework. Spirituality is more personal, intuitive, and internal. It asks questions, explores inner landscapes, and seeks direct experience. Some people find deep spirituality within religion. Others find it outside of it. Neither is better or worse. What matters is authenticity. Real spirituality honors all paths. It sees value in the sacred texts and in the silence between breaths. It welcomes difference without fear and unity without force. Spirituality, when misunderstood, can become a tool for avoidance. This is known as spiritual bypassing. Instead of facing pain, some use spiritual language to escape it. Everything happens for a reason, just think positive, or your suffering is just karma. While these phrases may be well-intended, they can invalidate real emotions. Toxic positivity is the pressure to always be cheerful even when you're hurting. It creates shame around natural feelings like anger or sadness. True healing requires acknowledgement, not avoidance. Authentic spirituality embraces the shadow. It understands that growth includes tears, rage, grief, and doubt. It doesn't rush to fix or label pain, it holds space for it. When we suppress emotions in the name of being spiritual, we bury them deeper. But buried emotions don't disappear. They fester. They show up as anxiety, as depression, as chronic tension in the body. They leak out in passive aggression, resentment, or emotional outbursts. Unprocessed emotions don't vanish, they wait. And one day, they demand to be heard. Spiritual maturity isn't about being calm all the time. It's about being real. It's being able to say, I'm not okay today, and letting that be enough. It's also knowing that anger, sadness, fear, they are not signs of failure. They are human. They are messages. And sometimes they are the most honest parts of us. Avoiding pain doesn't make us holy. It makes us numb. Real spiritual work is brave. It's looking into the places we've been afraid to go. It's allowing ourselves to feel, not just float. One of the most popular ideas in modern spirituality is the concept of manifestation, the belief that you can attract anything you want into your life simply by thinking about it, visualizing it, and aligning your vibration. The core idea isn't completely wrong. Our thoughts do influence our reality. Our mindset shapes our actions, and our actions shape our life. But somewhere along the way, manifestation got oversimplified into a fantasy. If I just think positively and believe hard enough, everything I want will come. The result? A whole generation of people sitting in their rooms visualizing success, love, money, but not doing anything about it. They're told that effort is resistance, that chasing a goal means they're out of alignment, and that all they have to do is receive. At first, it feels amazing. There's a rush of hope, a sense of control, a belief that life is finally going to shift. But when nothing changes, when the money doesn't come, the partner doesn't show up, the dream doesn't land, that high crashes. Fast. People start to blame themselves. I must not be manifesting correctly. Or worse, maybe I'm not worthy. It creates guilt, shame, and doubt. But here's the truth: manifestation without action is just daydreaming. If you want something, you have to move. You have to risk. You have to show up when it's uncomfortable, when it's inconvenient, when it's hard. Visualizing is a start, but it's not a substitute for effort. Real creation is a dance between intention and discipline, between hope and hustle, between inner alignment and outer action. Another trap of modern manifestation culture is entitlement. The belief that the universe owes you something just because you asked for it. That you're guaranteed abundance just because you think positive thoughts. But life isn't a vending machine. You don't insert affirmations and expect exact outcomes. Sometimes the things we want aren't what we need. Sometimes not getting what we manifest is the greatest gift. And sometimes the very thing we're chasing is meant to be surrendered, not because we failed, but because we grew. True co-creation with life requires humility. It means saying, this is what I want, but also I trust whatever unfolds. It means doing your part and releasing control of the rest. Manifestation isn't about manipulating reality. It's about aligning your energy and your effort with what matters most and letting go of the rest. The truth is, we don't need more people acting spiritual. We need more people being human with open hearts. Real spirituality is simple. It's kind. It's honest. It doesn't need an audience. You don't need to burn sage to be pure. You don't need to chant mantras to be connected. You don't need a guru to find truth. All you need is the willingness to look within, to show up with love, and to live with humility. Let go of the performance. Let go of the need to be high vibe. Let go of the comparison. And remember, the most spiritual person in the room might be the one who says nothing at all.